And Chelsea take on Nottingham Forest, a team that we've struggled against for a considerable amount of time. Pochettino is threatening to leave, or maybe not leave, or, you know, it's kind of all up in the air. HUDSON-ODOI is going to play against Chelsea, putting the fear of Jesus in every single Chelsea fan, including myself. Reece James is back. There's plenty to get through, but before we do, please do like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell notification to be notified of any future content on the channel. We are 3 games away now until the very end of this season. We currently sit in 7th place, and these are the games that we have remaining. Of course, Nottingham Forest, Brighton, Bournemouth. It's all kind of going in our favour at the moment, but it is ours to balls up, so to speak, with everyone and their mother suggesting that this is where Chelsea trip up once again. Obviously, we haven't bowed very well against Nottingham Forest as of late. We lost the first fixture back in September. Prior to that, we drew. And so, as a matter of fact, Nottingham Forest are 1 win and 2 draws out of 3 games in the Premier League since their return to the top flight. Having said that, before then, 2020, 2-0, 2019, 2-0, both in the FA Cup, League Cup back in 2017, 5-1. We've made light work of them years before, but since they've been back at the top, it's been anything but. 1-1, 2-2, and 1-0. I think it was Elanga with the goal in the 48th minute. The game seems so long ago now, I don't even remember what happened. I really don't even remember how the game went. All I do know is that HUDSON-ODOI wasn't eligible, or it was eligible. I don't think he was there. Well, I don't know what's going on with this season. It's gone on forever now. I am tired. I am absolutely knackered, and I'm ready for the season to be over. I can't be asked anymore because the pressure, it's getting too much. I've gone from here to here to here to here, like it's just up and down in terms of confidence. Do I think we're going to get European football? Do I think we're not going to get European football? I don't know. I just don't know. All I know is I want these games out of the way as quickly as possible. As we've mentioned, HUDSON-ODOI will most likely play. As far as I am aware, it is Callum HUDSON-ODOI's 100th Premier League appearance. It is made for them, is it not? It is absolutely made for them. Obviously, they've had their points deduction. They currently sit 3 points above Luton. You would assume a win here. Well, no, you wouldn't assume. You would know that a win here for Nottingham Forest would secure safety in the Premier League for them moving forward. They'd be here another season. Luton would be relegated all but on goal difference, or, well, a point, basically. With 2 games to play, you know, what would it be? 32 points they could get maximum. So a win and a draw, but virtually a win against Chelsea, and you'd think that Nottingham Forest would be all safe, and you know, and given their recent history, their recent run-in with Chelsea, they're going to have confidence. Not to mention that the last 2 games have been at Stamford Bridge. The draw, most recent draw, and of course the loss. The draw was back in the 13th of May, and the loss again was, you know, back in September. A full year between the last time we played and 2 days. Let me just turn this down because I'm a pasty white boy in this light. Listen, we've gone over what could possibly go wrong. There's a few other stats as well. Forest could complete a first league double against Chelsea since 78 to 79. you know. But conversely, I say conversely, it's not conversely at all. Chelsea have won just 2 of their past 10 away league visits to Nottingham Forest, drawing 4 and losing 4. When was the last time we actually won away from home against them? It was back in 1999 was the last time we beat them at Forest. We have since played them just the once, of which we drew, and that was back in 2023. Again, the 1-1. In terms of injuries, it's relatively unchanged, the usual names. However, Reece James and Leslie Ugochukwu, I think, is the other player that is returning, but Reece James could be eligible for a place in the squad against Nottingham Forest. In terms of how the games have gone, obviously when we're looking at the Tottenham game, we were looking at the over-unders in terms of goals scored. There have been over 2.5 goals scored in 9 of Chelsea's last 10 Premier League games. Chelsea have scored at least 2 goals in 9 of our last 10 Premier League games. And Chelsea are undefeated in 11 of our last 12 Premier League games. Away from home, it's a whole different ball game. It's not something that you really want to look at too much, but we're going to have to on this occasion, I think. Away from home in the Premier League, it's a sorry state of affairs. We are without a win in our last 5, 4 draws and a loss. That loss coming against Arsenal, but of course after that the draw against Aston Villa. Prior to that, a win against Palace, a loss against Liverpool, a win against Luton, a loss against Wolves and Everton respectively, and then Manchester United and Newcastle, a loss and a loss. But 3 wins before then, and then it just gets back to mud again, a draw and 3 losses. So our away record in the Premier League is absolutely just an absolute shambles. It really is. Again, Nottingham Forest home league record, it doesn't boast very good figures, to be fair. At the same time, a loss to City, a draw to Wolves, a win to Fulham, a draw to Palace, a loss to Liverpool, and a win against West Ham. I think their last 3 wins have come in January, February, March, the 2nd of April. So it's been well over a month since their last home win in the Premier League. Before then, it was the 17th of February. And before then, it was the 30th of December. So, you know, it's all kind of pointing in one direction and one direction only. HUDSON-ODOI 100th match in the Premier League, potentially. They've won 2 games at home in the Premier League in 2024. Our away record absolutely reeks, and you know, it's a must-win game for Nottingham Forest. Looking elsewhere, you've got the press conference. I watched it today in its entirety for the first time in quite some time, because it's just, he's quite dull at times. He's quite pessimistic. And I know that's rich coming from me, but I do try and keep it peppy. I do try and keep it positive when I can. Do you know what I'm saying? But with Pochettino, it's kind of all doom and gloom, or well, not doom and gloom, but it's kind of, well, he's me. I'm always the victim. And today he came out and it was more of a matter of fact. I think people have blown it out of proportion completely, but on Bowley's comments, you know, the 2.5 good games, well, the last 2.5 good games or good performances, and then of course whether or not it is simply down to Bowley and the rest of the goons to decide the future. And Pochettino, rightfully so, I think, has also suggested that, hey, if I'm not happy, I might leave myself. It's not strictly down to the board. It's not strictly down to Todd Bowley and Egg Barley. Will they have the last say? Maybe. But at the same time, it could be misconstrued. I've seen a lot of people saying maybe he's trying to get them, he's trying to grind their gears a little bit, trying to get at them, and trying to get under their skin and get that compensation by being sacked. Because it's no surprise that he is unhappy at the club from time to time. I don't think he's overall happy. If he was to get sacked or if he was to leave, I don't think he'd be, he even said, if I left tomorrow, it wouldn't be the end of the world. These things happen. So I don't think he gives a fucking hoot what happens, to be honest with you. But at the same time, does that suggest that he wants to leave? Does that suggest that he's going to leave? I don't think so necessarily, but all the same, it is what it is. Coming into this game as well, Chelsea's solitary defeat in their last 12 Premier League matches was the 5-0 win against Arsenal back in April. However, we are without a victory in our last 5 away fixtures, as I've said. The Blues have failed to keep a clean sheet in any of our last 14 away league matches. So, a bit of a worry, Our 59 goals conceded this season is the most since we conceded 60 back in 91, 92, blah, blah, blah. You've heard it all before. Let's take a look at the table and then I'll give you my predictions for this game because, again, as I said, everyone and their granny seems to think we're going to lose this game. And whilst they might be true in the end, right now it makes absolutely, well, I say 0 sense. We're looking at the figures. We're looking at this, that and everything else that all leads towards Chelsea losing or dropping points. But you can't also forget Cole Palmer. He's just won Young Player of the Year, or Players Player, or whatever it is, Players Player and Player of the Year for Chelsea. He's been nominated for Player of the Year in the Premier League, Young Player of the Year in the Premier League. He's just got the not the Golden Boot. He's just got the Goal of the Month for the month of April. He's just received Player of the Month for the Premier League. So he's going to be on an absolute fucking high of all highs coming into this game with a point to prove to carry on that momentum. So I don't know. There are obviously worries, but I think at the root of everything, it's just a lack of belief from the fans or a thought that, oh God, they're going to absolutely bollocks this now. The ball is in our court. We have to capitalise. Will we do it? Who knows? As you can see, Newcastle in 6th with 56, Chelsea with 54, Man United with 54. The goal difference, a severely different ball game altogether. Tottenham are in a bit of trouble here if Newcastle obviously win and I would assume if Tottenham lose. The fixtures everywhere else, we're pretty much all playing apart from Manchester United and Arsenal, who play on Sunday. But in terms of everyone else, you've got West Ham, Luton, you've got Newcastle, Brighton. I don't think that's going to be an easy game. I know Brighton have been a little stinky this year, but all the same, I think it could be a tricky one, although that said, it is at St James's Park. Tottenham versus Burnley, and then we are the 5:30 kickoff in the UK. And so, it could go horribly, horribly wrong. Are Man United going to beat Arsenal on Sunday? If we lose somehow to Nottingham Forest, then yes, Man United will turn up and beat Arsenal. And at that point, the season is over and it's done. But logic would lead you to believe that Chelsea, with the momentum and the progression that we've seen as of late, would and should come away with all 3 points. That said, my prediction, I do think it's going to be a draw. I think HUDSON-ODOI has a massive, massive part to play for Forest. Their top scorer, Morgan Gibbs-White, is he top scorer? No, he's their best player. Chris Wood, he's all right. In terms of fitness, HUDSON-ODOI, Bolly, and Gibbs-White, he's their best player this season as per average ratings. Apparently, he's been on absolute shit-hop form at the moment, and we've got to keep an eye out on him. I think it's going to be a good game. I truly hope I'm wrong in terms of my prediction that it's a draw, and I hope it's a win. I'm a little nervous though. Don't usually get nervous, but I'm getting a little bit, you know what I mean? A little bit shaky. With that said, let me know your thoughts. The previews are a little bit all over the place. I'm trying something different where I just kind of read as I go, as opposed to reading the script. Let me know, is the new format a little bit better where I'm just kind of a bit more natural as opposed to, hello and welcome back to the, whatever, all that bollocks. But a new season is upon us soon. Expect some changes and all that sort of thing, but I'm still loving everything I'm doing here. And I'm loving that you guys are enjoying the content as well. So again, please do like the video if you haven't done so already. Subscribe, we're so close to 8,000 subscribers. And hit the bell notification so that you don't miss any future content coming out on the channel, both there the rest of this season and next season and beyond. With that said, my name is Harry. Up the Chels and peace.